Here we go, recording starting. Hi, Andrea. So,
Hi, Kirsty.
Andrea, do you want to start off by introducing yourself and saying hello to everybody?
Yeah, hi, my name's Andrea from Cotswold Menopause. I'm a local shiatsu and Chinese medicine practitioner here in Cheltenham and Gloucester, and I help women alleviate their midlife health issues and menopause symptoms naturally and effectively.
Brilliant. So what I offer is quite different to what Andrea offers. So I need people like Andrea to help with that extra. So I'm very much about healthy, balanced living, nutrition. I'm not about crash diets. I'm not about crash exercising. I'm very much about trying to get that balanced living, healthy, balanced living, sustainable lifestyle. But there's certain areas that we need help with, and we're talking about menopause in particular tonight, but actually that also covers other conditions, chronic conditions, doesn't it? Like I suffer from chronic fatigue. I'm pretty good at the moment, but there are times, and Andrew, you've helped me through that as well, trying to calm my life down a little bit.
Trying.
So Andrew and I were chatting the other day. So I'm very passionate about nutrition. I'm very passionate about, drinking water, eating a variety of fruit and veg, getting protein, your calories, your macros, being knowledgeable about your food. But Andrew, you can add to that a bit more, can't you?
Yeah, well, definitely. I build on what you do. First of all, it's nutrition. But just before we go into why nutrition is important, it's about understanding how, in specifically the perimenopause, and that can bleed into the menopause and affect your menopause. And really importantly, it can happen to women post-menopause as well. It's this combination of stress, the stress that's in your life, the stress your body is physically and emotionally under, with your levels of fatigue, how your brain and emotions are working, and nutrition. And they actually all combine to create your menopause. So the amount of stress you're under can affect your nutrition levels. So you start with getting great nutrition. You start with Kirsty, and that's how Kirsty eats is how I eat as well. But with the soil depletion and things going on in the world as well, and stress wanting nutrition so that cortisol can do its thing, it uses up any nutrition you have in your body. And in using that nutrition to try and combat the stress levels in your body, it leaves you with symptoms like fatigue, achy joints, achy muscles, anxiety, and brain fog. So that's why understanding nutrition plus, let's say nutrition plus supplements, is so important, because we're actually combating the stress hormone in the body that's being exacerbated by your changing hormones.
So going on from that, what kind of how will people know when they're needing to supplement their nutrition? So when we talk about nutrition, I take it we're talking about getting enough protein sources in your diet. So I always say trying to get at least 20% per day of your calorie intake as protein, ranges of fruit and veg, getting in your carbs because they help you sleep, they give you energy, but having that balance of them as well, and trying to reduce your high fat, high sugar.
Well, I think that something's wrong is if you're exercising to the sweet spot, so you're exercising to how you know is right for you, plus you're doing all the nutrition, but you still have symptoms.
So what would you suggest? What kind of supplements? I think that's the kind of the question that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's vitamins and minerals for starters. A lot of women go menopause and go straight for trying herbals. And herbals are for bringing your body back into energetic balance, and they can be very valid. But actually, the first thing you want to do is vitamins and minerals. So a multivitamin, magnesium, omega-3 oil. So that's your kind of starting point. And then additionally, you can have additional vitamin D, additional vitamin C, and a probiotic to repopulate your gut. That's kind of like a core set that if you've got aches and pains or brain fog or anxiety, these are the kind of things that are going to top up your food. Because especially from my point of view, I point people at plant-based ones. And plant-based ones are just like taking super condensed food. So still eat your plate of well-balanced food because that's your primary source of nutrition. But for topping up, then go to plant-based supplements that then should start actually affecting and relieving your symptoms.
So I remember you saying in another chat, Andrea, because when you said about the supplements, and in my head, I'm thinking, I can't take all of them in one go. And you had a method, didn't you, of putting it throughout the day? So I think, was there about 5 main?
Yeah, there is. So we break them down into the supplements that are giving you energy and the supplements that are working to help you sleep. So, for example, your multivitamin has got a high dose, especially if you get a women's like midlife health multivitamin. It gives you a high dose of B vitamins. So they're giving you energy. So it's right to take your multivitamin in the morning. And things like your omega-3 oil, which is going to help your brain capacity throughout the day. But later in the day, it might be you take your magnesium because it helps you sleep. Turmeric is good at nighttime because it's helping the liver process during the night. And then something like ashwagandha, which is my #1 go-to herbal if you've got anxiety. That one can be morning or evening, depending on when you get your most anxiety. So if you find you're anxious throughout the day, I'd say take it in the morning. If it actually you wake up with anxiety at maybe 4 or 5 a.m., then maybe take it before bed. And then there's ones like calcium and vitamin C, which you shouldn't take with caffeine. So you can drop those ones in through the day. So you don't have to. Some people go, yeah, I will just neck everything first thing in the morning. Personally, I can't do that. I think there's a more intelligent way of doing it. And if you download my free supplements guide, it's all in there.
Okay, well, that's on your website, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just had a question here. I get to sleep, but I wake up in the night and I can't get back to sleep. I've got some things to add to that as well.
Yeah, is that the 4 a.m. wake up? Because sleep is interesting. I break sleep down into 90-minute cycles because if you understand about 90-minute cycles, you can then tweak your sleep so that you're setting your alarm to get you up at a natural time you're going to wake up, so it's not waking up in deep sleep. So break the whole night down into 90-minute cycles. But specifically, if you've got night sweats, that's happening roughly between 1 and 3 a.m. But if you've got that 3 to 4 wake up and then your brain is whirring, then that's more to do your nervous system and nutritional depletion.
Okay, so looking at your nutrition first.
Yeah.
And also so I did quite a lot of work with a sleep specialist about that whole waking up in the middle of the night. And the biggest thing was there was 2 things. It was either using a meditation app to try and get your brain to get back into the sleep mode. And on YouTube, you can literally Google, get me back to sleep.
Yeah.
And there'll be someone talking you through it. Or the other way was you come out of the room and then you come back in again. And it's about having a sleep routine before you go to bed as well, isn't it? Trying to have the no blue lights, making sure you've got that.
Yeah, I mean, sleep routine is brilliant for getting you to sleep, but this 4 a.m. wake up where you can use apps to get you back to sleep, what's happening is your body is under stress. So we come back to cortisol again, which is why feeding the cortisol is a good start. Switching the cortisol off with the ashwagandha is also fantastic. But what's happening is your mindset gets very negative at that time of morning. Everybody's the same. Nobody is awake at 4 a.m. and being jolly. And there's a reason for that, because if you're positive and happy, you go back to sleep. So another method that I found I've tried it, so I know it works and it works for my clients, is thinking about happy things. It's switching to gratitude, because that 4 a.m., it's swirling negative thoughts. It's what went on yesterday. It's worrying about what's going to happen today or in the future, about things that may never happen. It's worry and negative stuff that's going on. So if you can interrupt it with something positive, and I'm not joking, you could even be lying there and say, I love my mattress. I have the best mattress under the sun. Because I have a really good mattress. So if you're grateful for something and you think about all the ways that you're grateful for it, you can actually then induce sleep hormones. And I start giggling because I start feeling sleepy and I go, it really does work. It does work. So there's lots of different methods, but the idea behind all the different methods, like you said, the meditation app, the idea behind it is to interrupt the negative stress thoughts, because stress wakes you up, and switching you to happier thoughts, which triggers sleep.
So there's another question. If you take prescribed medication, can you take supplements? I already take vegan omega-3 daily, but nothing else.
Yeah. So the supplements, so yes and no. Majority of supplements, yes. Then you start getting into the realms, if you're on blood thinners, you can't take vitamin K2 because that thins the blood, or turmeric because it thins the blood. So if we split supplements into two pockets, there's nutritional supplements and then there's herbal supplements. Apart from something like K2, you can pretty much take all vitamins and minerals alongside Western medication. Once you start stepping into the herbal realm, depending on which vital organ the herb affects. So you might even hear that you can't take, eat grapefruit with certain medication because it has an effect. Grapefruit is a herb, but it has an effect on the liver. Ashwagandha is quite fortunate that it has an effect on the adrenals, whereas all Western medication is mainly working on the liver. So you can take ashwagandha alongside Western medication. But after that, it starts becoming a bit more, we need to check. But vitamins and minerals, on the whole, you're quite safe with.
Andrew, I hear about ashwagandha a lot. What is it?
So ashwagandha is a plant, it's a herbal. It's also known as Indian ginseng. And it comes from a family called stress adaptogens. And stress adaptogens are plants that grow in really, really harsh areas. So ashwagandha grows in the Himalayas, Russian ginseng grows in Siberia. So they've grown up in harsh climates. So
everyone's saying, can you write the name of the
ash, so ASHWAGANDA. But like I say, ASH, ash, wa, WA, gan, GAN, da, DA. Ashwagandha.
I keep hearing it. Loads of people keep talking about it, and it's always been one of those situations going, what actually is it?
So stress adaptogens are really good for us. So you might hear about shatavari, schizandra, reishi mushrooms. You might hear that all fall into stress adaptogens. And then inside of stress adaptogens, you have different things. So ones that revitalize you, like rhodiola rosea, or ginseng panax. Those things give you a boost. But if you're really fatigued, then we've got to help the adrenals first and foremost. So at the top of the calming, balancing set of stress adaptogens is ashwagandha. And then below that, you have holy basil. I think Shatabari's in the group. So there's all these different
ashwagandha is the one, because I meet a lot of people.
It's the king of that set of, yeah.
So what I meet a lot of people with menopause is the fatigue and the brain fog.
Yeah.
And then I try and be really careful with exercise, so they're not going to be fatigued more. So there's a bit of a happy balance. So I get them to exercise and rest, and but that fatigue is so disabling.
Yes. And I've met many women like that, and this was at a time that I wasn't doing supplements. The reason why I sit supplements alongside the shiatsu is because when we look at what's going on in the body with Chinese medicine, the first thing we go is, are you hot or cold? So we divide all your symptoms into whether they're hot or cold. Then after that, we divide your symptoms into, are they an excess in the body or a deficiency in the body? Now, normally if anything to do with the liver falls into excess, but actually 4 of the 5 major health imbalances of the menopause are deficiency. And deficiency, we have to add something back in. So that something is vitamins and minerals and nutrition.
So what are the health imbalances in menopause?
So lack of vitamins and minerals, lack of essential fatty acids for brain health, liver toxicity, so that's an excess, lack of good gut bacteria or balance in the gut, and adrenal fatigue.
So that's all from the menopause?
Yeah, it's not all from the menopause. You can already have them prior to the perimenopause. However, as your hormones start to change, and the first hormone is the decline of progesterone, and that equates to the perimenopause. So you still have periods, but you're getting these kind of emotional, mental symptoms. So you're not flushing at this stage. It's not a heat symptom. You could feel cold, fatigued, anxiety, brain fog. What else? Achy. Things are missing in your body. If you're just feeling really run down, if you don't feel like the woman you were 3 years ago, then you're in this fatiguey perimenopausal body not reacting to stress as well. Because, you know, we've got careers now, and I was in a stressful career and I could handle the stress for many years. But as soon as I got into my 40s, or when I got to about 42, I felt like the stress of it all was killing me. I felt my energy levels getting lower. I just felt quality of sleep going. I felt moods getting lower. You know, I just felt there was this major decline. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. Well, I did. I felt like it was stress. But what happens then when the progesterone starts to drop, it magnifies all of this. So everything you were just managing to get away with suddenly is put under a microscope. And
it's really hard to know when it is happening, isn't it?
It's on a lot of the perimenopause is on reflection. It's like, I'm not the woman I was 2 or 3 years ago, or even 18 months ago. And it's like that you've got this difference. And this difference, if it ticks enough symptoms, then it is. And there isn't a test for it. So the doctor's test for menopause is based on estrogen, which comes far later on. Whereas actually what a lot of women are suffering from right now is these stress, fatigue, nutrition issues that fall under the banner of perimenopause.
So people can help it through nutrition and supplements. Another question here: what is the average duration of women experiencing menopausal symptoms? Are we talking years and years?
See, I always say that's the wrong question. Because how long is the peri/menopause is how long is a piece of string. Because symptoms are your body telling you there's something wrong. So if you continue with symptoms, your body will continue to be wrong, and they'll get worse. And maybe in 10 years' time, your body is now compensating for them, but compensating at what expense? What expense has 10 years of putting up with something missing in your body had an effect on your health? And, you know, we've got to think about future bone health, heart health, brain health. Those are the 3 biggies. So the right question is, if I've got symptoms now, what health issues are they pointing towards, and how do I resolve them? So, for example, at 45, I was on my knees with perimenopausal symptoms. I had 25 out of the 34 there was at the time. But now I'm 50 and I don't have any symptoms because I resolved them then. So I'm now menopausal with no symptoms. But when I was under stress and not dealing with it, I had all the perimenopausal symptoms. Yeah, so even though I was eating well, because I've been on a really good eating regime since I was about 42, but that wasn't cutting the mustard by the time I was 45. And I was a tennis player, so I was doing a lot of tennis at the weekends.
So it's interesting what you said then earlier about feeling stressed and not, because someone said to me today, I just don't feel I can do what I did 3 years ago. And she's mid-40s. And so we're like, is it menopause? But actually, what you said is, it doesn't matter whether, you know, you might not have any moment, but actually it's dealing with it there and then. So doing your nutrition, you know, bone strengthening, muscle strengthening, having time to relax as well. That's a huge one, isn't it? Because I think we don't.
Yeah, under the banner of self-care, I feel that this is becoming more and more important. So self-care isn't about going for a quick pamper once in a while. Self-care is something you can practice every day. And it's how you utilize your energy, because you have a finite, I'm quoting a wise man now, and this isn't me. You have a finite amount of energy every day. Use it wisely. Use it on things that bring you calm, peace, and meaning. That's the quote. So one of the things I say is, if you're one of those people that says yes to helping people a lot, and let's face it, it's always these people that are helping everybody else are the ones that got the worst symptoms. So if you're that person that just says, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll help you, yes, leave it with me, you know all those situations, you know, if that kind of person, you're only going to do this 2 or 3 times. Bite your tongue to stop yourself saying that knee-jerk yes. Literally vital time. You're only going to do it 2 or 3 times because like just the pain of it is going to stop you in future. But what this does is it creates this little fire break. So you haven't done that knee-jerk, yeah, leave that with me, which you're used to doing. You've created a pause. You say, let me check my diary. You go off to your diary, whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your diary is real or not. What you're doing is you're creating the space to decide whether you truly want to do what you've been asked to do. Now, of course, if it's a paper you've got to write for work, the answer is going to be yes, of course you've got to do it. But so many things in life we're saying yes to because it's just our habit. And creating a pause in that habit and then deciding whether you truly want to help that person, do that errand for that person. You might be doing too much for other colleagues. There's a very real situation. That's where I found out. I was actually doing somebody else's work at work.
Andrea,
you can let them down. You can say no nicely because you can, I'm sorry, I can't do something in that time frame. I'm sorry, I can't help you this time. Then you've created the space. This is what self-care is, and this is how you manage your energy and your stress levels. Because if you say yes to doing something and then you can't do it and you get stressed about not doing it or you feel guilty, all of that is exacerbating the symptoms in your body because their symptoms are driven by stress. So self-care is about starting to really wisely manage your energy and then choosing the things in life that make you feel really good or really need to be done.
I need to listen to that a bit more. So I've got Andrew knows I need to listen to that a bit more. So question here, I've had not 1 but 3 different tendon injuries over the last few years. Is this a symptom? I'm taking tamoxifen and read that some info that it's a cause of these injuries. Been on it for 4 years with the review next year. Now this person is active.
Yeah, and I bet I'm guessing that your tendon injuries might have happened at this time of year as well. So tendons and ligaments are at the end of the nutrient train. So muscles and bones get blood, they have a direct blood supply. And Kirsty can tell you all this, ligaments and tendons don't get a blood supply, so they don't get nutrients. So, and I'm the same. I actually broke my ankle, not because I broke my ankle, but because I snapped some ligaments, which the knock-on effect was to break the ankle. And the second time I did this, I fared a lot better, even though it was a worse injury, because I was on the supplement route. Whereas when I broke an ankle 7 years ago, I wasn't on any supplements. So ligaments and tendons, well, first of all, what is the health of your ligaments and tendons? Because some people have, conditions that mean they're more brittle or hyper extensive. So there's lots of health conditions out there governing tendons and ligaments. But taking it that you haven't got one of those health conditions, supplements help get high amounts of nutrition to tendons and ligaments, whereas food nutrients are going to get used up, if not by the blood and the bones, then by your stress hormone cortisol also trying to do its job. And of course, it's about warming up tendons and ligaments as well, because the muscle quality, because a tendon links, a muscle to a bone. So if you've got tendon issues, kind of look to your muscle quality as well.
So, I mean, the question said about tamoxifen. Tamoxifen shouldn't affect the tendons and ligaments.
I honestly can't comment on that, not being medical, I'm afraid.
But
actually, the only thing I would say from a Chinese medicine point of view is tamoxifen has quite a strong act on the liver. And in Chinese medicine, liver is the governor of ligaments and tendons. So in Chinese medicine, if your liver is not working well, if it's stuttering, that's what we say, and then that stuttering will have a knock-on effect around the body. So you may want to think about doing something to support your liver health every day.
Okay, here's another question. So I found Davina's menopause programs fascinating, particularly that at age 50, our testosterone levels have depleted by 50%. I didn't know that women need testosterone for brain clarity drive as well as sex drive. Do you have a natural solution, or should we speak to the GP about trying testosterone as advocated by clinical studies? Basically, do you have a natural solution?
Yeah, so
great question.
Did she say libido then? So yeah, so testosterone, yeah, adds towards, you know, the whole picture of libido. The natural solution is libido is at the end of a domino effect to do with stress. So as the estrogen and progesterone are dwindling in the ovaries, the backup place for producing these hormones is the adrenals. But the adrenals also produce adrenaline and cortisol. So if the adrenals are being stressed to produce too much of those two hormones, they're not producing you any extra sex hormones. So libido is directly linked to the sequence of how stressed your body is. So you go through levels of stress, then you go through levels of flatlining emotions, which is different to low moods. So a flatlining emotion. So if you've lost libido, I would suggest you've already gone through this kind of flatline of, yeah, I'll just get through this, you know, things that you should have enjoyed, you now just see as a chore or something to be got through. I went through that phase. I was really in that phase in about 2018 myself. I got something on my teeth. But you can come through it and turn it around. And when I'm working with women, if libido starts to say hello again, then we really know that your body is reversing that kind of domino effect of symptoms. So yeah, there is a natural solution, but yes, women do have a certain amount of testosterone. And as far as I'm aware, you can only get it through private GPs, not through the NHS. That may change, but as far as I'm aware at the moment, it's only through private means.
So the natural solution being managing your stress?
Yeah, the natural solution being really push in nutrition, and so pushing in nutrition to feed the excess cortisol that you have in your body will help just across a whole spectrum of symptoms. Whilst you're feeding the cortisol so it can do its job, you also want to be switching off the very easy knee-jerk release of adrenaline. So if you think of your adrenals and adrenaline release like a leaky tap, ashwagandha is going to fix that leaky tap. So in time, if you're fixing the leaky tap, your cortisol levels come down, your sleep gets better, you get that 4 a.m. sleep, you get to sleep easier, you manage your stress throughout the day. And the less stressed you are, the more opportunity for sex hormones to be produced, and your brain feels better. So you feed your brain with nutrition as well, because let's face it, a lot of libido comes from what's going on up here as well. So you want to be dealing with a libido physically and emotionally.
So as an activity you could do is kind of come away and be a bit of an outsider into your life and see what you can do to manage your stress, and maybe time management as well. Then looking at a bit of a priority ladder of what is priority and things that you can, you know, get rid of or soften, or a bit like we do.
If anybody likes, I've got a managing overwhelm guide, like a short one that I give away, that helps you on that daily kind of treadmill of working. When, as one lady put, I had too many tabs on my computer open. What do I do? Because overwhelm. So, you know, managing overwhelm is a step in managing stress. Resolving your anxiety is bringing your stress levels down.
So what you're saying is we can control a lot of our menopausal symptoms and perimenopausal symptoms by managing stress. Yeah. And I keep thinking, you know, people always seem to have a finite time when you go, oh, I'm perimenopausal, or I'm not perimenopausal, or I'm menopausal. But actually what I'm getting from this, Andrea, is it doesn't matter. If you're getting the symptoms, that's when you need to start to be active, to look after yourself and think, okay, prioritize it, which is what that infinite balance.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I get women coming, you know, contacting me at 55 or 59 going, I've got menopausal symptoms. And I go, well, when did your period stop? And they'll go, 6 years ago. And I said, well, why do you think you got menopausal symptoms? Because I got the symptoms of menopause. And I go, it's stress and fatigue. It's just hit them at a later stage. Just one other thing I wanted to add in was there was a study done in Australia last year by some PhDs or somebody about positivity and menopausal symptoms. And their study showed that women who were more emotionally intelligent about their menopause and therefore more positive about it and saw it as a positive thing actually had less symptoms than women who ignored it or were negative about it. So positive mindset. And again, very simply, a positive mindset means you take a stress out of your life. And that's what I'm trying to help women do. It's to say menopause is a great opportunity to address issues, turn your health around, turn your life around, have a better second half than first half. You know, it's a great turning point in life. And if you can see it absolutely positively, I mean, the menopause is just something that should happen. You know, the periods should just switch off one day. The problem is right now we're just in this Western society of push, 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 more, more, more. And it's almost fashionable to be too busy all the time to do anything. We're not in a laid back world anymore. It's the average 40-something woman can't go round, you know, especially if she's got kids and a husband and career, can't go around and go, actually, I'm having a nice life. I'm not stressed. I'm taking it easy. The women that do that don't have any menopausal symptoms.
And I meet a lot of people who are menopausal and then they bring exercise into their life and strengthening and, you know, and walking. Some people want to run and it brings you so many health benefits, many, many, many. But actually, I think the one benefit that I need to push more and be more aware of, which I am naturally aware of, I probably didn't say, is it brings you positivity. So when you're moving more and you're able to move more and then it brings you more energy, you are then going to feel better.
Yeah, and that's the sweet spot. The sweet spot of exercise is you feel happy for the rest of the day. If you exercise, you get your high, but 3 hours later you're crying, and I've met women like that, then you've spiked on the adrenaline and you're spiking on the cortisol, so you're having the high and the low. So it's about finding the sweet spot of the exercise so that you're happy all day and you sleep well at night and you're okay the following morning. So if you've got a good 24 hours after your exercise, i.e. balanced exercise, then you get the sweet spot of it.
You can what I did today. So I had an hour to exercise and I went to where I go and I turned up, but it was really busy. I was really tired, but I knew I had to do this workout because I hadn't done it yesterday. And I turned up and I saw everyone, and I don't do this very often, but I walked in and I just thought I was going to cry. And I thought, oh, I have to do this. I haven't got any more time. And I said to one of the girls there, it was all full of men, and I went, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go and walk the dog. I'm going to have a shower because I think I'm going to cry. And she was so proud of me. And she was like, well done, Kirsty. And I actually felt better. And I was coming home and I thought, because we have these conversations, don't we, Andrew? And I came home and actually I did. I washed my hair. And I had a sleep and I walked the dog. And I feel great. Whereas if I had done that workout and pushed myself even more and kept working, then come here, I'd just be sitting here, you know, whereas and it is about having
it is. It's not about not doing exercise. It's doing, and I say to people, you know, dancing around the kitchen. I think flexibility and movement is one of the most powerful things you can do for your body. Your body works well. If you're oiled up and you're lubricated and your body moves smoothly, then things are going to flow very well. Chinese medicine of it all loves a nice limbered up, loose, flexible, twisty body.
Has anyone else got any questions that they want to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the ashwagandha again.
We just call it ash for short, yeah.
Ash, thank you. Do you recommend a specific website or brand? Because I know not all supplements are created equally.
I do. I fought with this for years. I didn't want to become a supplement pusher or anything, but actually, you know, my clients demanded it of me. Yeah, any ashwagandha is going to help you, but I found when I switched to the brand that I use, Cytoplan, and actually even one of the ladies that Kirsty knows said I switched my supplements to your supplements and there was a difference, because the supplements that I get women on are plant-based. Now, all ashwagandha should be plant-based, but you don't want an ashwagandha with fillers. You don't want an ashwagandha that was grown in a hot house in Spain when it actually should come from the Himalayas. So Cytoplan actually have the proper stuff. And even I noticed when I switched brands, I felt because I was on ashwagandha for about 18 months. I've not been on it for a year or so now. I noticed it all go up a notch, and I felt a notch better when I switched to the Cytoplan one. So if you get my my free guide from my website, there's a lovely discount code in there for you as well, plus all the links so you go straight through.
Okay. Did you say Cytoplan?
Yeah, CYTO plan.
Okay.
But go into it via my guide, and then if you do
Yeah.
choose to buy from them, get the discount.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you just put in Cotswold Menopause in the website, and then it all comes up, because it can become a bit overwhelming having so many supplements. And I mean,
that's why I created the guide. It tells you what each one does, and there's like a basic foundation set, and then after that it becomes a bit more bespoke. But you won't go wrong. Multivitamin, magnesium, omega-3, vitamin C, vitamin D, ashwagandha. Boom.
That's 6.
No. Well, it depends how many symptoms you've got.
Okay, say you've got symptoms of waking up in the night and you're in tiredness. What would you have then?
I would have that set.
The 6. I can't remember what all of them were.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to write them down.
I was just
Go and
going
get
to say
the
one
downloads.
thing.
Go and get it down. And the reason why is because that waking up at 4 a.m. is your nervous system is scared to let you to go into a deep sleep because it's on the edge. It's struggling. So it needs nutrition. This isn't forever. This is for now. For now might be 3 months. For now might be 18 months, depending on the level of your symptoms. But do remember, the investment now is your health for the rest of your life.
So can I ask then if what would be the basic minimum of supplements if you don't feel you have hardly any symptoms?
I would say probably a multivitamin and magnesium, and probably omega-3. So if you eat a lot of oily fish, so if you have your, they say have salmon, tuna, etc., 2 to 3 times a week. If you're eating a lot of oily fish, you don't need the omega-3. If you're and also nuts and seeds are really good for omega-3. I was chugging almonds by the mountain load, and it wasn't until I took magnesium that it altered my sleep. So
and actually, calories.
Sorry?
It all banks up in the calories then as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. But I'm never going to tell somebody to take a supplement over eating healthy food. But my example is you can't get enough nutrients out of the food. If you've got the symptoms and you're eating really well, there's still a gap in the nutrition in your life. So yeah, and magnesium, and you'll never get enough magnesium in a multivitamin, so you need the 2.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question. Okay. Anyone else got any questions? No. Anyone experiencing any symptoms that they want to write in chat or share?
I don't mind sharing that brain fog is one. Memory, short-term memory and brain fog. Sometimes I would just not be able to finish a sentence, and that's come on. I'm 50 now, and that's come on quite suddenly.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's difficult when you're at work as well, because obviously you want to be viewed as someone who's credible and intelligent. Yes. And when you can't remember really basic things like people's names, it's really embarrassing.
Yeah. Can I ask? Sorry, it's a bit of a personal question. Mm-hmm. Are your periods still regular, or have your periods gone wonky?
Well, I'm on the Marina, you see, so it's really hard to say. So the doctor said to me, if you're getting symptoms, then you're perimenopausal or you're menopausal, because obviously when you're on the Marina coil, you don't have periods anyway. So I don't honestly know if my periods have stopped or not.
The reason I asked that is because you said this came on quickly, estrogen drop-off can be quick. So it could be a direct correlation to your estrogen drop-off that you've suddenly gone bang. However, if it's come on more slowly, it would tend to be more to do with lack of nutrition plus too much sugar causing inflammation in the brain. So if you do this anyway, because this is good for your health, because they're even saying now that some dementia might be type 3 diabetes. basically the sugars in our life, and there's hidden sugars as well. So the foods that convert to sugar very quickly. So like some of your more simple carbohydrates, like white bread, white pasta, white rice, those kind of things turn into sugar quite quickly. If you've got a high level of sugars in your diet, that is causing inflammation in the brain. If your liver isn't working cleanly, then you're not detoxing and removing sugars and toxins that can affect your brain. If you've not got a good gut microbiome, 90% of your brain chemistry is made in your gut. So if your gut isn't good, your brain and your moods won't be good. If you're not getting enough essential fatty acids, you're not feeding your brain what it needs. So you can see there's a lot of factors that feed into brain fog. Plus, if it's come on quickly, then maybe you are sensitive to your estrogen drop off as well.
Yeah, so the doctor's prescribed the estrogen gel, and I've been taking it for 4 days now. So hopefully, I didn't really want to take.
I'd look to your health as well, because it's. I mean, you say this has happened quite quickly, but were there any indicators beforehand that things were starting to change?
Not really. No, it did seem to be sort of fairly sudden, to be honest. So I just put it down. I put it down to my age and that I was approaching 50, and spoke to friends who were getting, the same symptoms: the brain fog, the memory loss, the waking up in the night, the hot sweats, and I just assumed. And then the doctor said, just assume you are.
See, this is the thing. It's all about symptom sets. If you're waking up with night sweats, then your liver is struggling. If your liver is struggling, your brain isn't going to be as sharp.
Yeah, I wondered if it was my dog though, because my cockapoo Monty sleeps on my legs, and it's my thighs that are sweaty. So I'm wondering if it's the dog.
Yes and no. I had that about before I got my dog, and I just had a cat. I'd wake up and the cat chose exactly there to sleep in the night because it was nice and warm. But I was just like, bloody hell. Yeah, so you've got the femoral artery going through your thighs. So if your thighs are clamped or there's something constricting your thighs, then you're going to heat up. But if your liver is working optimally, then it's not pumping the blood around your body hot and fast to try and cleanse it. So I'd still suggest, especially if the cat lying on you at between 1 and 3 a.m. means you're hot and sweaty, that the cat lying on you at 4, 5 or 6 means you're not hot and sweaty, then it's definitely night sweats, definitely liver for those couple of hours.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm also...
How do you feel when the cat's lying on you at 5 a.m.?
It's not a cat, it's a dog.
Sorry, the dog. Sorry. Sorry.
Well, not well. I mean, I love him to bits, and we've done this since he was a puppy, so he's not going anywhere. He's on the bed, quite frankly. But sometimes.
Are you as hot and sweaty at 5 a.m. as you are at 3 a.m.?
If I wake up, it tends to be a little bit earlier than 5. It's the 3 o'clock. It's the 3. It's a bit earlier.
So you're not waking up at 5?
No.
So then it pretty much is liver. Your liver needs help. So maybe like the Cytoplan Liver Health to start. Basically, it's herbals to start cleansing your liver and support the function.
I've also downloaded an app. It's an NHS app, and it's called Drink Free Days. Because I'm one of those naughty people. I don't binge drink, but I'll happily drink 2 glasses of wine a night, which is quite common, I think, with a lot of women, especially in lockdown.
Yeah.
And I found that quite helpful. You can just kind of pick your 3 days that you just don't have any alcohol, and then just track it, and it tells you how much money you've saved, how many calories you've saved. Obviously, there's
how much better you sleep that night that you don't have the wine.
Listen, one of my ladies in the reset did it last time. She used that app, and it's really helped her, because she was exactly the same as you, and she found that she was drinking most nights and it was becoming a routine.
Absolutely. It's like a treat at the end of your working day. It's a really bad habit, but it's one I got into in lockdown, and I'm struggling to stop doing it. And
I can give you an alternative, Lucy. Switch to gin. It's a lighter load on the liver. It's a step down. Wine's up here and gin is a step down.
Do you know what? And if you have it with diet tonic, it's only 50 calories, so it's better for your the fat content as well. But I didn't realize it was better for your liver.
Yeah, wine's a nasty one.
It's not good, is it?
What I tend to do with wine now is I have it with a special meal. So if I'm having a big meal, I have wine with it, and then we have the meal slightly earlier.
Yeah.
But then I'm also doing a lot for my liver health, so wine doesn't affect me. But yeah, if wine is affecting you, or alcohol is affecting you, or you're having sugars in your evening meal and you're hot and sweaty between 1 and 3 a.m., your liver needs help.
Okay, great.
It's really interesting because it's just do it on livers and gut health.
A hell of a lot of your health, your future cardiovascular health is your liver. Everything in your health pretty much comes back to your liver. Look after your liver, and you will look after your health. Pretty much all major health issues go through the liver.
Yeah, it's very much like my reset program is about eating healthy, and Karen, who's here, is been really great at prepping her meals, and so which means that she's got them for the week ahead. Sorry, Karen. But she's great. So she's got them in a Tupperware pots, and she'll put pictures on a group and she'll share it. And it's I mean, I prep my meals, but mine's usually one big vegetable concoction, which I share with people, and I have soups and stuff. But Karen's, it's great because you actually do it, Karen. You do all the meals, don't you? You prep them.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you were struggling with fatigue before, and the eating has helped you, hasn't it?
Very much so. I just think it's just good to have that plan and know what you're going to have, especially when you're feeling a little bit hungry. You know that what you're having is good for you, and it's giving you some good nutrition. I mean, I do know quite a little bit about nutrition and health and all of that anyway. It's part of my role, I suppose. So sometimes we know these things, but we don't always follow through with them. Good advising other people.
We can tell people. Sometimes it's people, people who tell. I mean, Jen, you're probably the same as well. You can give people the information, but actually it's good to be told as well and to be kept accountable. I mean, I go somewhere else to work out because then I'm being kept accountable. I've got a gym here at my house that I could use, but I use that as my workspace, and I go somewhere else for accountability. And it's the same. It's like with Andrea. I was just proud telling her that I walked away from my workout, but then she'd be happy to hear that I did work out another day as well. So it's all about the balance, isn't it? All of this is about the balance and keeping the balance and having the wine when you want it for the meal. It's not about cutting it out, and I love that. Or having a swap. Don't have to cut out alcohol altogether, but we could have the gin because it's feeling better for our liver. And that's what I love about these conversations, because it's not like, right, okay, we have to be eating this many calories or doing this, having this much sleep. And it's not about that. It's having that balance and saying it's okay if we wake up in the night because we can try and do this. And I love this thought of, it doesn't matter if you're perimenopausal, menopausal, because we put ourselves into these places, don't we? But if we're having symptoms, let's deal with them. And that's, I think, have you changed your wording on your website maybe a bit, Andrew? Was it there before? Maybe I didn't notice it.
No, I've been changing it all this year.
Because it was menopause. So Andrea says she's there to help people with perimenopausal and menopausal conditions, but with chronic life conditions and general life conditions, isn't it? And I think that's what we all need to talk about. And the talking and the education is so powerful.
And we're missing so much now from school education about nutrition. And I switched my way of eating when I was 42. I went towards a keto way of eating, and because I used to do 15-hour days, I used to get up at 5 and drive to the office, and I would be dead on my feet by 3 p.m. But when I switched how I was eating, I don't deny myself anything because I love food. So much more energy. So it just shows that if you just shift food around, shift proportion sizes, understand what proteins versus simple carbohydrates versus complex carbs are doing for you, You can totally turn around your energy levels.
I do encourage, I mean, I'm not all about tracking all the time because it's very boring, but I do encourage people to track on MyFitnessPal to see their macronutrient breakdown, to see that you actually get a lot of carbs from fruit and veg.
Yeah.
You know, carbs are everywhere.
Yeah.
And actually quite a lot of the time when people are doing the reset, they realise they're not having enough protein in the diet. So that's the other thing that everyone should be looking at. Have you got enough protein? Have you got protein sources in at least 2 out of 3 meals? Have you got a protein source for a snack at least once a day? Because that helps as well. Well, I'd love to ask you, Andrea, actually, your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's good. The liver loves it. So yeah, it's not one I can achieve. I can go about 13 hours without food. But after that, I'm struggling, but I know a lot of women feel a lot better going, 16 or 14 to 16 hours, and it's fantastic for your liver, and it's a way of losing some weight, and more importantly, belly fat, without actually eating less. So
it's just to clarify, intermittent fasting, you can make it your own. So I have some people that eat within 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. I've got some people that do 11 till, I don't know, maybe 6 because it works for them. So they get up, they have some water, or it might be they have a banana. So they're not completely fasting, have a banana, and then they have something later on. But what the intermittent fasting does, it condenses your eating window, which helps your blood sugars, but it cuts out calories. So often when I make people are having additional calories that they don't count. So it's the crisps, it's the wine at night when you're sitting down and you reward yourself because you've had a really hard day, and you get into that the momentum of going, okay, I deserve this because it's been a hard day. So with intermittent fasting, it's much easier to cut out that, because snacks, those high fat, high sugar, can really affect you. And my other adding on for helping menopausal midlife factors is your daily movement. I'm really passionate about this, and every single reset, people on here have done the reset, but every single reset I get people to work out their daily steps, and a lot of the time I'll get people going, oh, I do 3,000 steps a day, or oh, I do 2,200 steps on average a day. Then I say to them, okay, next week, try and get your average up to 3,000, then 4,000. So then your minimum really wants to be 7,000 steps a day. Yes, people often increase it on their days off, which is great, but trying to get those daily steps. But your daily steps, there's so many fitness trackers, there's so many phones, or you just have half an hour walk a day, but I see great results from people increasing the daily movement because it's increasing the movement of your body, etc., etc. So yeah, and also another one is sleep. I know you might wake up, but making sure we go to bed at a time, because a lot of people find that they end up doing their jobs and then it gets to 11, half 11, midnight, and the amount of people in the research know, they're saying, I'm not going to bedtime at midnight 1 because I've got too much to do. So it's trying to cut out and, like, as Andrew was saying, chop away those things that you don't need to do. That doesn't need to be done. Get someone else to do it, or see if you can leave it.
Yeah. It is interesting when I have those conversations with women about why they don't go to bed so very, very late. There is a lot of time wasted in there. It's helping them see that.
Well, Simon and I we went back and watched Homeland. Is it Homeland or Homeland?
Yeah.
And we started watching it, and he went back to series 1, and I don't watch that much TV, but I'm quite an addictive personality. We're seeing it really late, and we're shattered, and people are like, Kirsty, are you okay? You poorly? No, just been watching Netflix.
You're binging.
And it's, but that's the other way. It's not all the ironing. I don't iron very much. So anyone else got any questions? It's just good to have a stopgap, isn't it? And just sort of bring it to the forefront and chat, and it's good to have more of these questions. Jane, in your line of work, you've probably got more that you could add as well. So I'm just going to conclude it and say a massive thank you to Andrea. Andrea's given up her time for this. I've recorded this, and if anyone has got any questions for Andrea, please contact her and just look at her website, Cotswold Menopause. There is loads of information on there as well, and Andrea is a great support to chat to one-to-one. And you offer A
clarity call. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
A clarity call. I saw that today. I thought, oh, that's a nice way to say it.
Yeah. It just helps you find out where you are, where you want to go.
Like clarity. It's a bit like a clarity chat. So thank you guys for being here. It's been really lovely to see you.
Lovely to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.